The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Hot topics, food, fun, entertainment, and serious business. Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese.
Glad you joined us again here on Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese. Once again, we've got another Las Vegas legend on my show. You talk about an eclectic background. I don't think there's something this woman has not done other than be a dog trainer. She's just amazing.
I don't know if eclectic is the word for it. Right. Could be fucked up. Diverse. Right. I don't know. Or all over the place.
Right.
But I'm here to talk about it. And
yay.
That's what's important, right?
We have Pia Zadora.
I've lived to talk about it.
Yes, you have had an amazing life. And you're still having an even more amazing life. I mean, life gets better and better and better for you. Pia Zadora, she's an award-winning actress, singer, mom, wife, overall entertainer. I've seen some of the interviews you've done, and I can tell at a certain point you're like, I'm doing a lot, right?
No, but at this point, I'm doing what I love to do. Mm-hmm. My way. I mean, I did work with Sinatra, and he did rub off on me in a sense, but it's my life. Right. It's my way. It's my time to do what I want to do.
Right.
Life is really short, and, now I'm kind of doing my thing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your latest thing, which is just so amazing. You have your own little cabaret spot at Piero's. And how did that come about?
Well, I had appeared at the Suncoast and at the South Point and at the Smith Center, but I wanted to work every weekend, every week. And so I love Piero's.
Yes, everybody does.
I walk in and I said to Freddie had seen me.
This is Freddie
Glassman. He had seen me at the Suncoast, and he said, "You need a room." I said, "Fine, I'll take it." And, he said, "Let's try." And I said, "Okay, let's try." And that was 3.5 years ago. And we've created an environment that's like a living room. Mm-hmm. It's like a party every weekend. Right. We have regulars. We have people from out of town come in. We have certain guest artists come in now. Sonny Charles is with me permanently.
Wow. That's pretty exciting stuff.
And he's on the marquee.
Yeah.
And we just have a blast,
And you have Frankie Shinta, you've got all these people. And you've got they're like the foundation, Clinton Holmes, Kelly Clinton Holmes. These are the foundation. Kelly won't sing with you?
No.
Why?
She's a snob. No, I love Kelly. She will not sing out of her environment. I won't either. I won't go there and sing. I want to have my band. I have Joe Lano. Mm-hmm. He's a legend. Mm-hmm. Best guitar player in the world. Right. And I have the other guys, my Joe Lano trio. In fact, I just finished a CD with the Joe Lano trio.
Wow.
Very kind of Judy Holiday, funky, cutting edge kind of stuff. It's being released on Sony Red.
Wow.
And so that's a fun thing for me.
Well, let's take a really quick break. You folks who are listening, we're going to actually take a look at some of your video from Pia's place.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
He walks away.
Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Our hearts are made of it. Let's take a chance. Why be afraid of it? Let's close our eyes and make our own paradise. Little we know of it, still we can try to make a go of it. We might have been meant for each other, to be or not to be, let our hearts discover. Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Now is the time for it while we are young. Let's fall in love. I love Piero's. It's so vintage. It reminds me of the old Rat Pack days. Back in the old days in Vegas, when someone would talk too much, they would get taken out and you would never hear from them again. It's what Trump did to James Comey. We might have been meant for each other, to be or not to be, let our own hearts discover. Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Now is the time for it while we are young, right? Let's fall in love. Let's fall in love. We laugh when we say young, but you know what? We are young, and when you get up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror, you realize, hey, this is the youngest I'm ever going to be in my life. And tomorrow's Mother's Day. It is Mother. Now, do not forget Mom, because if it weren't for her, you wouldn't have half the neurotic tendencies that you have now. And if you're thinking about a good gift for Mom, okay, let me give you the good and the bad. Good, massage, roses, dinner. Bad, vacuum cleaner. If you're gonna give a woman a machine with attachments and that vibrates, better not be a vacuum cleaner.
Now, see, I was just kidding. I really didn't know, but while you were watching that great video of her at Pia's place, I said, well, do you have dogs? And you do.
Sure.
But you're not training them. You just have them.
Yes.
What do you have?
I have a Pomeranian. I'm sorry, those are my daughters. I have a rescue Chihuahua named Snowflake. She's the cutest thing ever. Cutest thing ever. And a Papillon who's really pretty but really annoying. But they do well together.
Right, yeah. Well, I love watching it. That I'm coming in to see you live because I was really taken by what you said about that intimate feeling. It's so old Vegas. It's sort of like you can also almost reach out and touch the people on stage.
It's vintage.
Yes,
it's
yes.
Vintage. It's like being in your living room and connecting with people and telling stories and showing videos and having guests and drinking piatinis. And it's just, I love it. I don't know what I'd do without it.
Right. Well, I have been following your career forever. I don't know why, but I was obsessed with you as a kid. And one of the reasons I think was because I always thought, and still do, that you're so pretty, and it just looked like you look like a sprite. Like I just think of this bubbly, effervescent energy that comes across, and you're just gorgeous, cute. But you've always been that way for me.
Sometimes, but other times I can not be that sprite. I can be a huge bitch. But yeah, you got to keep positive,
right?
Don't you think?
I think
and I've
so.
always had that energy that I got from my mother, like a positive energy, and just bubbly,
Right.
I guess.
Okay, so
and
now,
you're that way too.
Well, thank you. I do my best, but like you, I've got two angels, peace and love, and kill, and sometimes kill wins out.
There you go.
And sometimes they're like arguing, and I'm like,
exactly.
make up your mind.
Hey, come on, we can't always be one thing.
No,
There has
right.
to be, other aspects.
Right. Now, let's talk about your parents, and you come from Hoboken, New Jersey. How did it start that you got into show business, and there you were, a Broadway star at the age of 7?
It's really interesting because I kind of fell into it. It was, I was a shy little girl, and I went to a parochial school. And the nuns thought that I needed to do something. They thought I was socially inept. And so my mother enrolled me in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I took children's courses, and Burgess Meredith was looking for a little girl to co-star in a Broadway play, and he came and kind of discovered me.
Wow. But your parents were kind of in the business. Your father's a musician.
My father was a musician. My mother sang with Sinatra. She and her sister had a radio show. My grandmother is an opera singer. But they weren't, at that time, my father was working. But that had nothing to do with how I got started.
Right. So you weren't looking at them saying, I want to do this someday.
No. In
right.
fact, I really didn't. It kind of took away from a normal childhood.
Mm-hmm. And you're an only child, so.
I'm an only child.
Uh-huh.
But I kind of gravitated toward it because it made me feel good about myself because I did it well. And, the photographers would come to school and the kids were like, oh, wow, she's special. So, it made me feel good about myself.
What were your first Broadway hits?
My first Broadway hit was Fiddler on the Roof. I was the original youngest daughter in that. And then I was in Henry, Sweet Henry, which was the story of Henry Orient, the world of Henry Orient, the Broadway version. And I replaced Bernadette in Dames at Sea. Yeah. And I did Promises, Promises with Rich Little. and I was in The Sound of Music.
So you and Rich Little go back way back.
Before.
Wow.
I was a teenager. I was like 16 and he was like 26.
Wow, that's
it's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So who were the big stars that you worked with even before you met Sinatra? Actually started working with Sinatra. That's one I really love. But you've worked with some pretty big names just moving up the ladder.
Well, yeah, Orson Welles, Stacy Keach, that was Butterfly, Ray Liotta and Lonely Lady, Milton Berle, Bob Hope, all those people of that genre, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis. Right. I was working with all those people. Right. And George Burns.
And George Burns and Don Rickles.
Don Rickles. I mean, there are so many. I should really make a list. I should really write a book.
I was just going to say that. I mean, that would be fascinating. All these, and to be so young and to work with these, professionals, and it just rubbed off on you. What do you think was the biggest as you were coming up? What were some of the lessons that you learned at the knees of these masters?
Work ethic, I think, with Sinatra. He was extremely, rigid in a good way. And he would just, there was a bubble that would grow around him before a show and during a rehearsal where he would completely focus on what he was doing. And it had to be perfect. It was a perfectionism. And he was right. It has to be perfect when you're out there in front of all those people.
Right. A couple of days ago I saw a post, Steve Harvey's getting a lot of criticism for putting out this, basically a memo to his, and I know you've seen it too, to all of his employees: don't talk to me, don't touch me, don't come in the dressing room, don't. When I first read it, I thought, gosh, that sounds kind of harsh, but my mother was a singer, and I know how I am if I'm anchoring or if I'm reporting. I've got to close everything off, and I think a lot of times the fans, it's not that you don't love your fans, but that time when you're getting ready to go on stage.
Yeah. You have to keep completely focused, and you don't want to hear anything because it throws you off. And most performers have ADD. Really, I mean, most that I know do. And if I hear another voice or another this, I'll freak out. It's like, okay, leave me alone. Don't talk to me now. I have to focus.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's just who you are.
Right.
Maybe it's a matter of the interpretation. You have to tell people, I'm sorry, I can't focus right now. Could you just give me a second?
But I'm sure you run into people or people come up to you and it happens. I think it's a difference if it happens that like you're a restaurant or somewhere, but if it's in that getting ready for work, that little bubble beforehand, I find I can get thrown off too, and especially if it's bad news or somebody says something that's unpleasant, my energy level goes way down.
And you're distracted. And you can't be distracted when you're doing what you're doing. When you're singing, when you're newscasting, can't be distracted.
Now, when you're up there on stage, what's your feeling?
I feel like I'm in control. See, it was always easier for me to be in front of 1,000 people than a one-on-one when I was growing up because I was shy.
Yeah.
I'm better now. But I just feel like I'm running the show in control in a good way.
Yeah.
Making people laugh, giving people information that they wouldn't have otherwise, and making them connect with their emotions, their songs.
Right. Well, I saw that when you actually were up for a Grammy nod for Best Rock Vocal Performance, you got beaten out by Tina Turner. I mean, really, if you're going to get beaten out by anybody, then that's pretty good company. But what I also thought when I was reading that was, you two probably, other than maybe Elizabeth Taylor, your childhood and your early life is like every time somebody does an interview, there's that block of time that you have to talk about. Do you ever get tired of talking about the whole Butterfly and the Golden Globes as a new star and how people were thinking that you shouldn't have gotten the award? And does that ever get just old? Like, really, do we have to talk about that?
Well, it gets less and less because it's so long ago.
Right.
But it's part of my history. It's part of who I am.
Right.
And I learned from it. And actually, if I hadn't won the Golden Globe, I probably wouldn't be Pia Zadora.
Really?
I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to get out. Because who knows? I mean, it's such a competitive field out there.
Right.
Right. For young actresses. And who knows if I didn't have that whole controversy thing and got pissed off and said, hey, I'm going to get out there and show them who's boss here. And I'm going to prove that I am not a fluke.
Right.
I was a singer. I was a Broadway person. I started when I was 7. So,
Exactly.
So that gave me the desire and it gave me the strength to get out there and put on my gloves and box.
And I was always such a fan, and when I watched that, all I get now, now the word exists for it, and now I can say haters. That's how I felt. I mean, every time your picture was like, it's just jealousy. That how dare you do well? How dare you marry a rich man? At that point, you were married to Michelin Rickless, who owned the Riviera. You were performing at the Riviera. This is your husband. This is the company business. I didn't understand how that was such a big deal.
Well, but I was performing at other places too.
Right.
But I think it was more about his involvement in the film, in Butterfly. And then I won the Golden Globe, which was a pretty big deal.
Right.
And everyone was like, Pia Zadora. I had a funny name. And, Carson thought I was his answer to Rula Lenska. He later apologized to me. Because, and Steve Allen, Night of 100 Stars. If a bomb fell in this place, Pia Zadora would be the only star alive.
Right.
But then he ended up apologizing, and I took the stage at Radio City. So those comebacks are much more important than just someone who is singing, someone who does a good job. You can get lost in the shuffle. But because it was a comeback story, it was way more impressive and way more powerful.
Another name that pops into mind is Cher. She's another one who was like, on every peak and valley, your people are thinking like, Cher is never going to come back. And I've heard some just really awful. I mean, I'm to the point now where I think if they're not making a bad joke about you, or they're not pointing at you, then it's like you said, it's the negative attention too is what brings people in.
Exactly, but you have to turn it around.
Yeah. Now, how did you do that?
I went back to my roots and I sang, and I made a couple worse movies after that because I thought, okay, I'm going to prove myself in acting. But then I realized, hey, do what you do best. Do what you've always done. Sing, interpret songs, go on stage, be an entertainer. And like Hairspray, have fun, Naked Gun, 33 1/3, make fun of yourself. Because I've always, I was a Broadway kid and I had that spirit.
Right.
So I turned myself back to that.
Let's take a look at the clip. John Stiles, our station owner, loves this clip from Naked Gun. So check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome internationally renowned actress and singing star, Pia Zadora.
You're walking along the street, or you're at a party.
There he is!
Or else you're alone and then...
Excuse me. Isn't that snot on your shoe? Not where? Oh, Austin! You gotta be here someplace. I'll stay here, you check the wings.
That this could be the start of something big. There's no...
Oh, no. Not him again. Please, God.
Who knows what's written in that magic book? And when a lover you discover at the gate, my friend, invite him in without a second look. You're watching the sun come up, you're counting your money.
Officer Nordberg from Police Squad. We're here to prevent a disaster.
You're too late for that.
You're watching the sun come.
Hey, it's Frank.
Counting your money. Or else in a dim cafe, you're ordering wine. Inside real you wanna be away.
Come on, Nordberg. We've got to get to Frank.
Start of something. This could be the heart of something. This could be the start of something.
Okay.
I guess you figured I didn't do my own stunt at the end. They used a dummy. A real dummy, not me, a real dummy. But the interesting thing is that OJ and I both ended up here in Las Vegas.
Isn't that amazing?
The only difference is that I get to travel.
Okay, maybe we should also put, let's see, Pia Zadora, singer, actress, wife, mom, and comedian all their own.
Well, that's right.
Because every time we hang out, you always make me laugh. That's so fantastic. So what was that like working? I mean, because I didn't even realize that you'd been in so many movies as well. You were doing that as well as singing at the same time?
Well, Naked Gun was singing and
Right.
dancing, and that was a musical movie. But no, I went on tour with Sinatra. And
this was, how long had you known Sinatra at this point?
I had met him when I was with Jackie Mason in Florida. I was opening for Jackie Mason. So that was like in 80-something, early 80s.
Right.
And that's when he asked me to come and tour with him.
Yeah. Now, how did that come about?
Well, he saw me, and he sent me flowers the next day.
Wow.
Said, from the guy with the blue eyes, you knocked him dead. And then his people called me and said, Mr. Sinatra would like you to open for him. And I'm like, well, let me think about it.
Yeah.
It was a huge turning point. We were talking earlier about how I turned it around.
Yes.
He really helped me. Because,
Yes.
he showed me the ropes, and I went to another level. I mean, the Tina Turner, the Jermaine Jackson, all those records and the Grammy nomination were great, but they didn't mean crap to Sinatra. He was like, sing Man That Got Away. Forget all that stuff.
Right.
And so it put me on a more mature, more sophisticated, and more credible road.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing I didn't realize, and that you'd worked with so many, you've collaborated with so many sort of like mainstream hip-hop, R&B producers. Jimmy Jam, Jermaine Jackson, Michael's brother,
Narada
Michael Walden, Terry Lewis. What was that like? I mean, that's a big transition from that type of music to now going to the standards. Did you enjoy that period?
I liked it, but it was hard for me because I could never really connect to the particular thing that I was doing. Jimmy Jam was not, Terry Lewis. It just wasn't me.
Right.
And you have to, it's like a dress that fits. You have to keep trying the dress
Yeah.
until you find the right dress.
Right.
But I loved it. I had lots of hits in Europe
Yeah.
with Jacques Morali, #1 songs in France, #1 with Jermaine, and I had the
Which is
#1.
something else you have in common with Tina Turner, because a lot of her music, after she broke with Ike, it made her a huge star in Europe. It wasn't necessarily reflected here in the U.S.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We were the #1 duo in Europe for like 2 years. We won the Meet 'em over Mick Jagger and Michael Jackson. We were huge. We were the bomb.
Why do you think that is? Why did the European artists welcome you to more than America just during that time?
Well, it was a great duet. And we were, I don't know, the song just did well. We had fun with it. Jermaine and I were always like brother and sister. And unfortunately, the song wasn't released in the U.S. because Clive Davis had Jermaine doing a duet with Whitney. So he put a ban on that song so it wouldn't interfere.
Right.
But I think it probably would have been a hit here.
Right, the politics of the music industry.
yeah.
Oh, all the time.
Exactly.
Right. So now you've welcomed the standards, guided by Blue Eyes himself. What was that like to work with him? You said he had a great work ethic, but the stories that I'm hearing, he was a very generous man.
Well, at first it was scary because, Frank Sinatra,
Right.
geez, and he really didn't give you a sense of that he liked you because, as we talked about, he was very focused and he wanted everything perfect. And every night before I'd go on stage, he'd give me a 3-word pep talk. Don't screw up. And it taught me not to screw up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he, as an interpreter of songs and lyrics, just hearing him every night doing those songs kind of rubbed off on me, I think.
Wow, amazing.
I didn't own them then.
Right.
I was too young. I didn't understand them.
Right.
I hadn't suffered enough.
How long? Well, yeah, isn't that funny that you should say that, because there is a certain emotional quality that does come with maturity, and his ability. If you look at his early stuff and you look at your early stuff, the texture, the emotion is different. It's not. It's still good. It's great.
It's different.
But it's just different.
It's different. Mine. I don't think mine was good. I don't think I felt it because I was doing songs. And even though Pia and Phil was a great success as an album with the London Philharmonic, doing those standards, I listen to it now. I'm like, what the hell was I doing?
Right.
Why didn't I understand what I was singing?
Mm-hmm.
And now I understand what I'm singing, and luckily I can still sing.
Yeah, right? And you've had the life experience now to
Oh, it's
really get
just
lyrics
different.
it's just different.
You feel it.
Yeah.
You mean it. You understand it.
Now, what is it like, the difference between having
What they
an
say,
orchestra?
youth is wasted on the young.
Yes, that is so true, right? Let's turn it around. What's it like, the difference between you've got this whole, orchestra behind you as opposed to in the cabaret? Is it still the same emotion, or is that energy coming from all those instruments?
It's much more intimate, I think, with 3 pieces. It's because I'm like the 4th instrument.
Ah.
as opposed to having this whole background. I'm just an instrument, and I connect more with that, and I really enjoy the one-on-one much more. It's like a big production with all the instruments, but you don't really feel that sense of, you know, that one-on-one, that intimate kind of thing.
Right. You've seen the music business change here in Las Vegas. What do you think about the state of where we are right now with the residencies and the big concerts coming in, as opposed to when you were coming up with just the lounge, pretty much what you're back to now with the lounge intimacy?
The intimate, the vintage.
Yes, yeah.
We're kind of the last of the vintage.
Right.
Well, you know, it's just new artists emerge, they perform, they it's just in their clubs, and there's a lot of interesting stuff. Some works, some doesn't work.
Right. And some of your buddies, you guys were all in here a couple of weeks ago. Can you talk about this project, or is it top secret?
Oh, no.
No? Oh, pooh. Well, all I can say is Pia's got something really, really big happening. Can you at least see who the players are?
No, because we don't know for sure.
Oh, okay, pooh. Well, you heard it here first.
Cut. We're gonna cut that.
You heard it here first. Something's coming. So, Better Be Good to Me. The song that you had was Rock It Out. That was the name of the song.
Rock It Out was the song that I was nominated for the Grammy.
Right. And so, who did you work with on that one?
I worked with. You mean in terms of
getting
the stuff together? Well, I was with Sony Records at the time, and Jack White was producing most of it. He did Jermaine Jackson's song, and we did a great video with Bob Giraldi. That's prison video, right? Okay, we're not going to go there.
Right.
It was a precursor.
Right.
Let's just say it was a precursor.
Right.
But it was fun, and I liked it.
Well, let's take another look at The Lonely Lady, a movie of yours.
It's being released on Blu-ray.
Right.
And that's a warning. It's not a reminder.
Right.
It's a warning.
Yeah.
It's a cult classic, and it's a little racy and a little... It became cult because it was so bad.
Right.
But it's so bad that it's so good.
Exactly.
Go figure.
Thinking of like cult classics, you worked with one of the greatest in that genre, John Waters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now what was that like?
Love him. You know, he wanted me to do Hairspray, and I was on tour. And he wanted me to play Deborah Harry's daughter.
Really?
Prom queen.
Wow.
And I said it because I'd met him when I did Lonely Lady. He had done an interview for American Film Magazine. And we kind of fell in love. And there's a chapter about me in his book.
Oh, wow.
And he said, come do Hairspray. I'm like, what do you... He says, do 2 days. You have 2 days off, do a cameo. I'm like, okay, what should I bring? What am I going to do? Give me a script. He goes, you're going to be a hippie. I'm like, a hippie? I'm a shelter girl from Queens. I don't know from hippies.
Right.
He says, just come. So I trusted him. And I got there, and he gave me Hal, this black wig, Rick Ocasek, and let's get naked and smoke. It was the most fun I ever had on film.
Wow.
Except for Naked Gun.
Except for Naked Gun. We're going to take a really quick look at a clip from Naked Lady coming up on Blu-ray.
Lonely Lady.
Oh, Lonely Lady. Not naked?
But naked, too.
Hollywood is a world of glamour. A world where everything has its price. And nothing is forbidden. It is the world of Harold Robbins, The Lonely Lady. Pia Zadora is the Lonely Lady. She's determined to take nothing less than everything Hollywood has to offer.
We're back, The Lonely Lady. Now, how long did it take to put that movie together?
Well, we shot it for about 3 months in Rome. And I got to live in this big castle in Olgiata, which is outskirts. They would bring the horse to my door. I love to horseback ride.
Really?
I'm a horse girl. Okay. They'd bring the horse to my door. Miss Zadora, here's your horse. And I'd jump on the horse and ride around. It was great.
Yeah.
But Lonely Lady was It was kind of interesting experience.
In what way?
It was just off, and I knew it was off, and I felt it was off. I thought, okay, this is a great project. It was Universal. My husband wasn't producing it.
Right.
I was starring as a screenwriter that got screwed in Hollywood, so she won an Oscar and told them where to put it.
Right.
So it's kind of
well,
like
that's that storyline. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's like kind of familiar.
It played right into what I was doing. But it became a cult classic because it was so bad. Mm-hmm. And it's funny now.
And who are your fans? If you could identify somebody out there who if they follow you and who are like me, who just think Pia Zadora is just all that.
I don't know. It's pretty diverse because of the diverse career I've had. Got a great gay following, which I love because they're the best audiences in the world.
And they're extremely loyal.
And extremely loyal, extremely vocal, and extremely smart.
Right.
They know what's good.
Yeah.
And they're eclectic too. And then there are just normal people that remember me, and guys that are in like 50-ish that remember me when I was a sex symbol. And you never know.
Right.
But they're there.
Yeah. And I think that's what I saw in, like, if you look at all the photographs, it just seems like you just never age. You look exactly the same to me now as you did when you were, doing these things, not totally naked, half naked. How do you keep yourself in shape? What do you do?
I do everything I should do. I try to exercise and drink a lot of water, and also my Piatinis, because alcohol is a preservative. So I drink a lot of Piatinis. That helps. And I don't know. I think it's attitude.
Yeah.
And we do what we need. Look at you. Look who's talking.
All right.
You look like a baby.
Oh, thanks. See,
we both have
can
baby faces.
Can you please come on every day?
Oh,
yes. That's right.
Yes. Sister.
Right, yeah. So let's talk about your family now. So you're married to Mr. Rickles, 2 kids by him, and then you got divorced and you married again, and now you're married to the third guy. You still haven't caught up to Elizabeth Taylor, but you're doing pretty good.
My third's the charm. He was a cop on Metro, and that's why I moved here. And my baby just turned 20. He's going to go to UNLV.
Yeah.
He's got some special needs, some learning issues, and he's on the spectrum, but he's doing amazingly well. Right. And my older son is a lawyer in Santa Monica, and my daughter's a singer. And, Mom is my deal. Mom Pia Z at AOL.
Yeah. So you took a break, and a lot of people don't realize it. That I always like when people say to me, oh, you went away. No, sometimes it's good to take a break. And you took a break for your family. And so from what time, this is like a good period of time, like 15 years.
Yeah. Well, when I did Crazy for You on Broadway in 95, then I got remarried, and then I got pregnant with Jordan, who's now 20. And then when he was born, he had special needs. So I had to refocus and figure out how to make him the best he can be. And my other kids were young at the time, too. They were like 9 and 11. So, I had 3 kids, and I said, hey, this is my job here. You know how you realize things in your life, how you know what you have to do at certain points.
Right.
And that empowered me, and I felt great. I never, ever thought I would come back.
Really? You thought that was it, huh?
The inner diva in me just disappeared, but then it came back to haunt me.
Right.
After I knew that Jordan was doing really well, that's my youngest, and I said, hey, he's independent now, I want to do my thing. And I was lucky to be in a town where I could do my thing.
Right. Can you talk about his special needs? Because it's something that's very near and dear to your heart in terms of getting the word out to other parents that there are resources out there.
Oh, yeah. There's a great Grant a Gift Foundation, which is the Ackerman Center for Autism now. My girlfriend Melanie heads it, and I got involved with it. And you just early intervention. He's not clearly autistic. He's on the spectrum.
And what does that mean?
Well, there are different elements on the spectrum. There's OCD, there's ADD, there's learning disabilities, there's proprioceptive, physical, sensory things going on. And he's dribs and drabs of certain symptoms, a little OCD, a little this, a little learning. So he's PDD-NOS, pervasive developmental, not otherwise specified, which is little bits of everything. So he's very social, which is not really an autistic trait.
Right.
And he's almost a savant in sports. But you really need to find out with these kids what they do best and try to nurture those things. And there's lots of early interventions available now.
Yeah.
Way more than when
Is it something that can be diagnosed early on? I mean,
it has
what are
to
the
be.
signs?
Well,
how do you know?
When they're little, there's certain impulsivity, and they don't listen, don't listen, and just want to do their own thing, and will throw things at you, stuff like that. That in his case, that was him. And so I took him to a specialist, and he went to a special school, goes to a special school here, now he'll be in UNLV in an amazing project. Which I'm supporting. Project Focus.
Okay, what's that about?
Project Focus is for kids who typically would not be able to have a high school or a college experience. And they don't have to have IEPs. They don't have to get degrees in whatever, but they have aides helping them.
Wow.
Certain kids, if they can't type, then they have someone take notes for them and help them, support them.
Right.
And I got all my friends. I got Jerry Lewis and Marty Allen and Rich Little and Frank Marino and Chris Phillips and Sonny Charles, and they all did a fundraiser for this particular program. Really helped the president of UNLV, and Jordan won $5,000.
Wow!
He won it in the spring. What's it called? The basketball. March Madness.
Yes, March Madness.
March Madness. A bunch of celebrities had to guess the stats, and he guessed the stats. He won he guessed them for me.
Wow.
And he won $5,000, and he donated to Project Focus. And so, I mean, this Project Focus is our life right now, because it's an amazing.
Is it difficult? Was it difficult for you as a parent to split your time? Because I've heard this from other kids where like one child in the family needed more attention than the others. Did you ever feel sort of torn?
Luckily, my kids there was a 9-year span.
Okay.
So he was a baby. The youngest was 9 or 10. So it was different. They were already preteens, teens, and they helped me. They became like second parents.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, they really helped with the whole process and became his supporters and advocates.
Right. Are you spending a lot of time out in the community telling people about this Project Focus? Yeah,
we're doing that.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, that's the first time I've heard about it, and that's fantastic.
The Wagners were on it. They did a little thing, and
it's on Channel 3.
Yeah. And it's a great little fundraiser. Right. And you should probably show the video if you can.
Yeah, okay. As the word gets out, do you think there's enough understanding about autism? Because when you go online and you see all these things where people are saying autism is caused by this or that, or is it, just let's face it, just some kids get it?
I think there has been no clear data that they were talking vaccines,
I heard that for a long time.
And then environmental stuff and all that. But what's the point? Nothing's been proven. The thing is that we have to deal with it.
Right.
So we have to deal with it in a good way without causing a stigma.
Yeah.
And it's scary at first.
I bet.
It's a whole new, world that you have to deal with.
Right. What's it like for you living in Las Vegas now? What do you love about Las Vegas the most?
I just love that, it's you have everything. You have every show. You have every restaurant. It became a real sophisticated town. At first it was like a gambling place where people would come, East Coast mentality, mobster, whatever. But now it's just a very elegant, great, amazing place. Lots of entertainment, first class restaurants.
Yeah.
It's a little hot in the summer, but hey, there's air conditioning.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you'll see in my Celebrity Wife Swap.
Yes.
I don't like to go outside a lot.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's take a look at that.
Tonight on Celebrity Wife Swap. Earthy, free spirit, and multi-award-winning actress Cloris Leachman.
I'm gonna make Wife Swap my bitch.
And legendary performer Pia Zadora, whose life is all Vegas glitz and glam.
I perform on a regular basis. That's why I drink a lot of Piatinis.
Swap lives for 1 week. The celebrities have no idea where they're going or who they'll be living with.
Las Vegas to death on every corner.
I don't like that it's the valley. Air quality is not good here. Oh, crap. I smell horse manure. It'll take me a minute to get ready.
Cloris and Pia get a chance to explore their new homes before they meet their new families.
Wow, this is really hippieville.
I swear there are birds in here. Donna! Come and get me! Pia Zadora. I remember you. She's gorgeous. Oh, Pia Zadora. Oh, Pia Zadora. Pia is not like anybody in the world. She's beautiful. She's one of a kind. It's Pia Zadora. The Pia legacy can be a lot to take in. I imagine you're ready for that Piatini now.
Back in Vegas, Cloris is wearing Pia's protective gear and is ready for a night out.
No, now you got to back up. Just hold on a second. Slowly. Over here, though. You got the door. The door's back here. Yeah. This side. To the left. Up that way.
Go that way?
Go, turn right.
Michael used to be a cop.
There you go. Go ahead. Keep going forward.
He's having a hard time keeping up with me.
Okay, stop.
What's the bat?
I can't do bats.
What the hell is that? Oh, that's disgusting.
Okay, so while we were watching that, we were talking about how neat it is to walk in someone else's shoes. What was that experience like for you?
You know, it was, Cloris is, of course, absolutely amazing. And it was just different. I mean, as hard as it was for her to get used to living in Las Vegas, can you imagine me living in the middle of the woods in a hippie? Oh my gosh. I mean, there was not even on Google Maps. Seriously. I thought she had a pet bird. It was a giant mosquito. Lives right next to a nudist colony, and I hate getting my nose sunburned. It was a whole other environment. But
yeah. And how long were you there? How long?
A week.
It's just a week.
5 days,
yeah. What was your takeaway from your experience?
My takeaway is that you can't be afraid. Like you said, walk in somebody else's shoes, and that's what I did basically.
Right.
But I'm never going to wear them again. So now I know what to do. Now I know what works for me and what doesn't.
What doesn't. And I love it at the end where they have to kind of confront each other. What were your feelings during that? When you were actually telling her, girl, I think your lifestyle is whack. But nicely.
Yes. And, you just have to have fun with it. Not be mean. That could be a real trap. Because Cloris is tough. She'll just look at me and say, "Your husband has no balls," or "Your this has this," or that. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Cloris. So she ended up being my best friend. She came to my show at Catalina and was like, wow, I didn't know what to expect. And her daughter, Dinah, fabulous, just, ballsy like her mom.
Right.
So we were all pretty ballsy chicks. So I think we worked well together for that reason.
What do you see as the future of Las Vegas for entertainment?
Gosh.
More Pia, of course.
I think it's just going to change as the times change and evolve. And, I'm not psychic. Sorry. I wish I were.
Right. What would you like to see happen?
I just want I don't want it to be the way it used to be, but I think it needs to kind of even out and figure out what it really wants to be.
And we don't know what we want to be until we're not even close to growing up yet.
No.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
but that's part of the beauty of it, the experimentation.
Yeah. So you're out there, out and about. What's your take on the Raiders? Since let's get off of entertainment for a second. Let's talk sports because your son's into sports. What's your take on the Raiders coming to Vegas?
I just think, of course I'm biased because we all know how I love a tight end. And so does Bill O'Reilly. I think I'm kind of afraid of it on one level because it's going to make our town too big.
You think so?
Too busy, I don't know. And yet I think that's a great thing for the economy. It's different. Change is different. Change is hard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. I was skeptical. I'll be honest. I didn't think that it was going to happen. But just in my lifetime, I'm just amazed at how Las Vegas has evolved. I grew up at Nellis, and there was nothing between Nellis and the Strip, really. And downtown was just like a little pocket. And to see, now, if you go up to, I'd say maybe Lake Mead up there by Hollywood, and you just look at the valley, or you go up to Anthem and you look at the valley, it's just amazing. I never would have thought that it would grow up to be the town I was going to run away to. And so you've seen all the changes too. What do you think of the growth?
I think it's amazing. I think that's what had to happen. And that's, I just think it still has maintained its spirit though. Right. That kind of smallish spirit. Even our entertainment community. It's a very small entertainment community. Yeah. You see the same, it's like a family.
Right.
And we keep it that way, our local entertainment community.
Right. Yeah.
And I like that kind of, mom and pop thing. And I think we still have that. We got to hold on to that.
Right. I love it. The names that you were mentioning that were part of your autism group. Since we've been on the air, since the station's been on there, we've had quite a few local entertainers here in the building, here on some of our shows. And the thing that I find so just amazing and so gratifying is how close you guys all are. I don't get a sense at all that it's like you go to each other's shows, you support each other's charities. It's like maybe there is some backstabbing. I haven't heard it or seen it. It's like you guys come in and you support each other in everything. It's amazing.
It really is that way.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because it's different, really different. It's not that way in Hollywood.
Right.
Trust me.
Well, I even found that in the news business. Sometimes we'd get, not that often, but we'd get a reporter from another city and they would just be dumbfounded. It's like, you mean you're going to hold a microphone for us? It's like, well, yeah, I'm the only reporter here, so okay, everybody give me your mic. And they would just like go, whoa, that would never happen somewhere else. I said, you need to get used to it. This is Las Vegas. We have our own little clique. I have to admit, I used to get really defensive when people would say it's hard to make friends in Las Vegas. Well, yeah, if you didn't grow up here, because you might leave.
Right.
You know, people are kind of looking over their shoulder thinking, how long are you going to stay? And if you're not going to stay, then I can't really invest in you. You know? Yeah. And then, of course, you've got that phenomenon of we'll all go into our garages, and God forbid, unless you've got escape artists for dogs like I do, you don't get to hang out with your neighbors that much.
No, it's just, that's just life anyway. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Depends on how you're living, the community you're living in.
So next step for you, do you write your own music? Are you going to do some of that?
No. This is my my album with Joe Lano. That's my next project, and working on promoting that and doing a little, tour this summer.
How many CDs do you have out?
I haven't had one for.
But
20,
but somebody can
20
come.
years.
But you do have some from your earlier.
They're on
career.
Amazon.
Yeah, right.
They're from way back. The Pia and Phil and those things. But I don't even listen to them.
Right.
But this new one is going to be more me than anything. So.
How so?
Because it's what I do now. It's what I love to do. My heart is in it. I feel it. I understand it. It's my way.
Right. So how did you choose the songs?
Well, I listened. I worked with Joe, listened to Seriously Sinatra. Some of them are ones that I did a long time ago.
Wow.
But now I figure I understand them differently, and we reframe them.
Wow. Now, Piero's, of course, is a big local hangout. So let's give them the address again so they can come see you, what nights you're there, and you've got Sonny working with you now.
Right. Piero's is, I think, 2121 Convention Center Drive.
It's like right off the
Something
strip,
like
too.
that.
Yeah.
Piero's Italian Cuisine. And we're there every Friday and Saturday at Pia's place.
Right.
You could see the marquee.
Right.
There.
So what do you do when you're not at Pia's place?
Local stuff.
Right.
And work on the album and be a mom and
right.
take care of my husband and vocalize and prepare for my set list for the next week and rehearse.
A day in the life of Pia.
Pretty busy.
Do you ever plan to expand beyond 2 days, or is 2 days enough?
Oh, 2 days is fine for that.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're glad that you're back out there doing your thing. It's so great to have you here at the station, and just, I'm a huge fan, so you can come back anytime.
Okay.
All right.
I will.
So just know she agreed. We'll see you back here next week for Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese.